Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome to the Save Soil Movement webinar. My name is Yamuna, and I am a full-time volunteer with Isha Foundation. It is wonderful to have you with us today. The reason why we are gathering online is to create awareness of the degradation of soil, the dramatic decrease of quality in soil, as well as the movement inspired to address it. Before we get started, we'd like to know how familiar you may be about saving soil. So please take a moment and let us know in the chat how many of you are familiar with the Save Soil movement. You can answer this question as if it were a yes or no question. I'll take a look at the chat window now. Seems like many of you are familiar. More responses are coming in. So here's another question. How many of you were aware that soil degradation accounts for nearly 40% of the climate change issue, but yet only about 45% of a nation's budget is allocated towards addressing it? Some of you seem to be aware of this as well. So in my personal experience, I was not aware of the quality or the condition of soil before Sadhguru started speaking about it. Up until now, I simply took access to food, for granted. My connection with the soil was possibly planting flowers, gardening, things like this. but I didn't have a proper understanding of where we are at. Within this lifetime, in about 40 to 50 years, much of the soil on the planet will not be habitable for cultivation. This is a major issue that needs to be looked at. And one of the primary purposes of the Save Soil movement is to create awareness in such a way where we get the attention of those in power who can make certain types of decisions. Let us now listen to Sadhguru speak about the significance of the Save Soil movement, and then we will look at ways to get involved.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects, but we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less food than what we are producing right now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? What is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy, in most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth.
The microbial life in the first 12 to 15 inches of topsoil is the basis of our existence. It is this magic beneath our feet which has produced the life that we are. This first 12 to 15 inches of soil is the basis of life for 87% of life on this planet, including you and me.
We have to begin to recognize that what we call our soil, Mother Earth, is a living organism.
Open soils, ripped open by ploughing, open to sunlight, is the basis of destruction of microbial life. So the focus should be on agriculture, the focus should be on seeing that land is under shade as much as possible, some kind of shade, grasses, herbs, bushes, trees. Conscious Planet is launching Save Soil movement to bring about a policy change to regenerate soil. As a part of this, I'm 65 and I'm riding 30,000 kilometers, a lone motorcycle journey, 30,000 kilometers across 24 nations to activate support from the citizenry to assure the governments long-term investments will be appreciated. So it's extremely important that soil regeneration is enshrined in the policy of every government on the planet. We must change the narrative on the planet that soil is a wealth, a legacy we have received from previous generations, and we have to pass it on as living soil for future generations. We are in a cusp of time. If you do the right things now, in the next 15 to 25 years, we can significantly turn this situation around and regenerate the soil. But if we allow this to progress like this for another 30 to 40 years, after 40 years if we attempt this, then it could take 150 to 200 years because that much loss of biodiversity would have happened. From 21st of March for 100 days, the whole world, every human being on the planet should talk soil. We must hear the word soil, save soil everywhere to see that the narrative on the planet changes towards the most vital aspect of our life, the soil. Each one of you should reach as many people as you can to make this happen. Many global leaders and influencers are already participating in the movement. Be a part of this and let us make it happen.
For my part, as much as I can contribute.
We're going to save the soil. Do your part.
And saving the soils.
Our future, our children's future, and our planet's future depend on it.
Save the soil.
We know what we must do, so let's make it happen.
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 In so many ways, we may be taking steps on our own through recycling or possibly composting out of our homes, but the situation is so dire that significant, impactful action needs to happen. Now, the purpose of the Safe Soil movement is to change the narrative, to ensure that saving soil is an ongoing topic of conversation among 60% of the world's population at a minimum. This translates into about 3.5 billion people. We are aiming, through the Safe Soil movement, to inspire policy change. It is only through policy that the direction of how a country functions will change. How a society could function, that can also be driven by major global policy change. A concerted effort on the part of the electorate in all nations around the world will definitely garner significant attention of those in the highest positions of governmental leadership. This movement is not about, staging a protest or anything activist in nature. This is about reaching global policy makers. Only if the narrative is changed will saving soil be a top priority. We have seen many efforts in federal governments in countries around the world addressing environmental issues in a variety of ways. But somehow save soil or saving soil, while it is such a huge and pressing issue, while there is such an immediate need to alleviate many of its aspects and solve the problem, a very small percentage of a country's budget is going towards this. So it is my privilege to join the Save Soil movement. I would like to share with you the many ways to get involved. So let's have a look now. This first slide will walk you through a few aspects. So we invite you through this webinar to join us as an Earth Buddy. For a minimum of only 10 minutes a day, you can create awareness in your own circles about the condition of soil. The website to go to join us as an Earth Buddy is isha.us/save soil. Now let's look at how to spread and create awareness. This next slide will give you a few options. So when you talk to your family and friends about soil, it is important that you have educated yourself beforehand on this particular subject. You will find extensive material on the website to assist you in this process. Visiting consciousplanet.org and the Save Soil Movement website, isha.us/save soil, will ensure that you are equipped with the necessary information to be able to speak to others comfortably. Another option is to share a video or message about saving soil and posting it on social media. As you may already be aware, Isha Foundation has an extensive social media presence. We are there on all of the major channels and avenues. Finding content will be very easy to do by simply following Isha Foundation, Conscious Planet, Sadhguru. On those channels, you will find content of a variety of natures that you can easily share. When you amplify content, it definitely continues to be a major topic of conversation. Liking, sharing, commenting, tweeting, retweeting, these are some of the ways that you can definitely keep the conversation going. It is important that you use the Save Soil hashtag, #SaveSoil, on any post that you make online. When you want to share your own message, a video or message that you create, it can be something that is reflective of your personality. It can be serious, funny, heartfelt, and any duration that you wish, as long as it includes the relevant information from the Save Soil movement. So for those of you who may not be familiar with how to post on social media, we have included some helpful tips on the website. So we invite beginners, intermediaries, and pros to join in this effort. This next slide will guide you as to what other tags you can use to add to the message. So as you can see, at Sadhguru, at Conscious Planet on Instagram and Facebook, and then on Twitter, tagging at Sadhguru JV and at CP Save Soil will definitely keep the message going. As I shared earlier in this webinar, I did not have a grasp of the situation that we are facing with respect to soil. In addition to having some amount of connection with the earth, maybe through gardening, things of this nature, I do remember that over the years, I've been hearing conversation about people wanting to eat more healthy. As we heard from Sadhguru in this video, the nutritional value of fruits and vegetables that are grown in the current condition of soil that we have on the planet has gone down dramatically. So while people are making efforts to eat more clean or more healthy, that is not the fundamental issue. So Save Soil is a movement that is systemic in nature. It offers long-term solutions, and it is something that has been inspired by Sadhguru based on his clarity and understanding of the current situation. One may wonder how to get involved, such a huge problem, such an emergent need. What can we do? Simply by signing up to be an Earth Buddy, you will have access to all the material that you will need to have the conversation organically with family and friends. Not only that, you will be invited to an exclusive meeting with Sadhguru. This next slide will give you additional details. On February 13th, Sadhguru will be meeting us online at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, or whichever your local time zone happens to be. The only way to get an invite for this particular exclusive meeting with Sadhguru is to become an Earth Buddy. So our volunteers who are supporting this webinar will post once again the website that is needed for you to get connected. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to stand up and ensure that our voices collectively are heard. This is a concerted effort to ensure that those who have influence over the direction and course of our lives, from a policy standpoint, definitely take notice. We have been privileged at Isha Foundation to receive the support of a variety of people from various segments within society. People like Jane Goodall, Tony Robbins, Mark Wahlberg, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Deepak Chopra, and so many others. Isha Foundation has also received support from the United Nations. A variety of sub-teams within the United Nations have signed on to support the efforts of the Save Soil movement. So we look forward to having you with us, joining this movement as an Earth Buddy, and seeing what we can do within this generation to turn this situation around. We also invite you to stay in touch with Sadhguru as he makes this 100-day journey to continue raising awareness, meeting with leaders in positions of power and influence, and seeing how the impact of his interactions, his offering of eye-opening insight will translate into real action. We look forward to sharing about the Save Soil movement in a way where it demonstrates the proven success that we have already seen in Rally for Rivers and Kaveri Calling. We'd like to end this webinar by enjoying another video with you where we hear what soil itself has to say.
I am the soil. I am in the hills and in the valleys, the farms, the orchards. Without me, humans could not exist. But you treat me like dirt. Do you realize that I am just a thin skin on this planet? And that I'm actually alive? Full of organisms that grow your food? But I am broken, aching, overused, sick because of you. You have withered me away to less than half of what I used to be just over 100 years ago. Are you paying attention? I am turning to dust. So maybe you could treat me with a little more respect. You still want to eat, right?
It has been my privilege to spend this time with you online. Please join us for the next webinar. We'll be offering them daily at various times throughout the day on all the major social media platforms. Once again, my name is Yamuna, and I look forward to joining the Save Soil movement with you, alongside of you, as we work to address this problem together. Thank you, everyone.